What's up reefers, this is Ash and welcome back to Ash's channel and to Ash's Lagoon Reef. In this episode I will be talking about the power heads that I will be utilizing to add flow to the Lagoon Reef. So as you can see, I'm going to be using two quiet pump which are also wirelessly controlled from Coral Box QP5. Now these pumps comes in various other models as well, QP5, QP7 and QP9. QP5 is comes to roughly around 1300 gallons per hour, so it will be together 2600 gallons per hour at the 100% if I run them into the 50 gallon, which I think it's way too much flow, so I will be cutting down on the percentage or the intensity. These pumps have 6 different modes of flow. M1 is pretty much constant as displayed in the diagram. M2 is the wave pattern. M3 is again the wave pattern. We're using 2 pumps. M4 is just a random pulsing and going down. M5 is known as the reef mode, which seems to me like a reef crest mode in MP10. And M6 is just wave mode as well, but random different intensities going up and down. The reason why I picked up this pump is because of the budget. Definitely this pump is much cheaper than MP10, and again no comparison between MP10 and Coral Box, but if I get 2 pumps for under $200 and yet I'm able to keep the flow and the SPS in my tank, I think it's a win-win. Even if I have to replace this in a year or year and a half, another set of this pump is not gonna cost me more than $200 and I'm still happy. I have used Jebao in the past, and don't get me wrong, I have also used MP40s on my previous reef as well. So I'm kind of happy with both. Definitely the MP10 are much, or the Ecotech pumps are much more reliable. But in terms of QP, these Coral Box pump apparently has been engineered in Germany as per Jebao. So that's what their manual says as well, and that's because they wanted to make it as quiet as possible. I will be taking you guys close without editing the video to see and to hear if you guys can hear any noise coming out of the pump, and that will also give you an idea how big or small these pumps are in my tank. So right out of the box, the pump has 3 peripherals. One is the controller, the second is the pump itself, and the third is the power adapter. And as you can see, QP5, QP9 and QP16, sorry I said QP5, 7 and 9, I was wrong. It's QP5, 9 and 16. 16 being the much stronger pump, I guess, for larger aquariums. QP5 are for 50 gallon and under, and QP9 is, I would say, 100 to 150 gallons. And the explanation is very straightforward on the manual. A point to note is the wireless controller does not come along with the box. You have to order it separately. Again, depends on your LFS if they are selling it as a kit, and includes that with an additional cost. Going further down, it just gives you an idea on how to assemble the pump. On the second page, which is what I like, is kind of a picture of how your controller looks like. So on the top left, it will tell you what model of the QP pump you have. Right underneath is the night sensor. On the screen, this is the LED screen display. L equals off means the night sensor is off. When L equals on means the night sensor is on. What this does is, say if you want to reduce your flow at the night times, so if you place this controller right beside your lights on the display, it will sense that the lights are getting more and more dimmer, because your intensity of the lights will go down, and as it senses that the light is getting more and more dimmer and it has completely come down to the night, it will go into the night sensor mode, and the pump will have a very constant flow but at a very less intensity. The M1 here displays the various modes of speed, so M1, M2, M3 and so on. F or E is the intensity. You could run it from 1 to 100. So on my tank I'm running at 75. The FLO 9 flow, again it's how wide of the flow pattern you are going to be utilizing it. So that can go, I guess, I think from 1 to 20. Now the FE is basically the feed which you can activate using this button right here. It says WILI or feed. The WILI, it explains you further down to control master and slave. So anyways, the same button is also used to activate your feed option as well. The night sensor on and off. You can also have the night sensor off. In my tank I have the night sensor off because of the very fact that my controllers are under the cabinet, so definitely there is no light in there. So if I keep the night mode on, the sensor will always think that it's night time because it's dark under the cabinet, and it will just run the pump at very low intensity, which I don't want. Again, the manual is pretty straightforward. It goes further down and describes how each mode can be programmed and what it does. So really I'm very impressed with the manual. It's pretty straightforward, not like the previous Jebao manuals where it was kind of confusing sometimes to understand, but reefers mostly figured it out. But this one is definitely a notch above. For those of you who might have used the WP series of Jebao pump in the past, apparently they say the QP is the upgraded version of the WP, and it says quiet pump. So let's go ahead onto the display and see if we can hear it. So let's go ahead and check out the size of this pump. As you can see, it's I would say close to not more than 3 inches from the glass, and the width is, I would say, not more than 2 inches, inch and a half to 2 inches. And let's see if you can hear anything. This is non-edited version at all, and I'm placing the camera as close to the glass or to the magnet as possible. I can barely hear anything. And the way how I have placed them is I have placed one at the very end here, right, and one in the front there, so it's kind of creating a gyre flow. Now I'm going to shut off my return pump and throw in some mysis shrimp just to give you an idea on the flow. So as you can see, the return pump is off. There is no flow coming out of the return nozzle, which is placed right underneath. This flow what you are looking at is just the flow from the pump, and I see a lot of disturbance on the top. So here I'm going to be dispersing some mysis shrimp right in front of the power head, and you will see how far it goes. I think that pretty much gives you an idea on the flow. So yeah, definitely the the pump has the effect to create a good impact on the flow on your tank. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it. If you guys did like this video, let me know. I will review this pump again after maybe 3 months or so to see how they have performed so far, but I'm very impressed uh, on the flow for now. That's the pump at the back, providing the flow as well. So it's a pretty gentle flow. I'm using it on the reef mode, where it mixes up with all different kinds of flow. So thanks for staying back, and I'm hoping you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys do like to hear more about more products, hang around. We will go through tons of more videos on this reef and we'll enjoy. Take care.